Hello, welcome to another briefing. So in this briefing, I'm going to make this pretty quick. Just going to go over the pattern and then computer model projections. We're going to start out with the satellite. And what we're seeing is another little weather system moving into the Pacific Northwest, parts of northern Idaho. You have a Clipper type system moving into the upper Midwest. And then you have a another little front over northern New England. Have a front basically passing through Florida right now and then extending offshore. Then you have another weather system just past the desert southwest going into Texas right now. You have a big ridge of high pressure over the west coast. I'm gonna actually draw roughly what the jet stream is doing here, and you can see this big ridge out west. Let me just do this big pressure over here. Dry, sinking air, stable atmosphere, negatively buoyant air parcels, which means that the air is not able to rise. There's not enough instability in the atmosphere, so the air parcels aren't rising and forming clouds. The air is mostly sinking. And then, of course, you have along the jet stream, you'll have areas of clouds, um, typically where you have any kind of curvature, which is going to give you what we call a vortmax, which is going to cause divergence aloft, which causes rising air. It results in the rising air at the surface, which gives you low pressure and gives you clouds and such. Basically, let's with this general idea of this pattern, let's move on now to computer model guidance. And if we look here, the 12Z run, this is at 4 a.m. this morning, Pacific time. Take a look at the nationwide picture here. You can see pretty much exactly what we were looking at on the satellite, with the jet stream doing something like this, right as I drew. And then of course you have this big ridge of high pressure over here. See these red thickness lines, this warmer air columns here, big ridge there. And then you see the blue thickness lines, which is associated with its troughing, a lot of cold air spilling in here to the upper Midwest and parts of the Northeast. Then we have sort of a ridge over the south, and we have a little cutoff weather system, upper level low, moving from parts of northern Mexico into Texas right now. So yeah, so basically let's go through this computer model projection. You can see here this system does push into the Northeast. Maybe I mean, I don't think New York City is gonna see snow, but I think a lot of interior Pennsylvania, New York, and a lot of these states are gonna see some snow with that. And we're gonna see rain off the coast. Decent system, but not really big for the big cities. But look at this. Look at these blue thickness lines. Look at this 540 line pushing all the way down into Florida. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at 5,000 foot temperatures here. I'm quite curious. Look at that. Wow. Wow. That's pretty cold. That's not record cold, but that's pretty cold. That's almost as cold as you get down in parts of Florida have below 0 Celsius at 32 Fahrenheit at that 5,000 foot level. That's pretty cold air. In an anomaly map, you can see that pretty cold air mass pushing all the way down into South Florida. Let's take a look at projected temperatures. Go. So Friday morning, I'm gonna zoom into, say, Florida. Yeah, I mean, you got potentially low 40s all the way down to Miami. You have upper 30s for Orlando. Sorry, it's probably gonna get, yeah, upper 30s for Orlando, maybe some low 30s. Maybe low 40s for Miami. Gainesville, parts of northern Florida, Pensacola, Panama City Beach will be in the 20s. That's really cold for North Florida. Sorry, my cat is in the background. She's very vocal. So yeah, pretty cold there, looking at those surface anomalies there. And let's go back to the multi-parameter view. Sorry, just a moment. So let's go ahead and see here. We have this pattern continuing to bring just mostly Clipper systems across the upper Midwest into the Northeast. And then a pretty cold push of air again, maybe not as deep, but a pretty cold push of air behind that next system. And you just have basically continued ridging out west. I'm going to put a different view here. You can basically see you have this persistent ridge out west. Everything's getting sent further east until maybe, looks like maybe on the 23rd, 24th, we start to get some troughing out west again. But what the pattern is looking like for really the next 10 days or so is this big blocking high pressure out west, which is in turn, sorry, I'm just going to put a wider view here. So we have this big blocking high out here. And this is sending all the storms up and over the ridge. Storm track is way up north into northern Canada. And we have storms going up and in down here. And they go around this ridge and then they come down on the back side, or the other side of the ridge, the eastern side, down through the upper Midwest and then down to parts of the south and then up the coast of the Northeast, and plenty of cold air spilling down as well on this side. This is a pattern that you tend to get very cold out east when you have this big sharp ridge out west. So you get moisture riding along the jet here, coupled with cold air, you're going to get snow. So that's a nice cold, wet, snowy pattern for the east, and pretty warm and dry, or mild and dry, out west, which is really unfortunate for the ski resorts and winter weather fans. But there is hope. We're starting to see more consistency model run to run, and even amongst other models of some troughing returning here to the northwest, and that could bring some cold, wet weather. That's kind of an ideal pattern for us to get cold and wet out west, is you have this big ridge of high pressure setting up over Alaska, and that in turn dumps colder air into the west, and then you have moisture riding along the jet here. You couple that with that cold air, you get some pretty low snow levels and a lot of snow up top, high snow ratios. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're able to get something out of it. And I'll see you next time.